Alright, Psycho fans, it's time for the 1-year review on the BMW E46 M3 in Phoenix Yellow. Yep, as you know, you've been watching the channel, you know I kind of lusted after this car for about 2 or 3 years. It took a couple years to find the one that I wanted. Found this one in 05, yeah, it's an SMG. But hey, if you wanted an 05 or later, you wanted one with extremely low miles and perfect condition, and this is a BMW individual one, so it was slim pickings, but this was the perfect car for me. The search for this SOB was one royal pain in the ass. But it's one of those things where I've told you many times, you just got to wait for the right one. You just got to be patient with it. And sometimes you got to pass up on some good cars to get a great car. And this is really a great car. I absolutely love it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This color is just amazing. And on a day like today, it depends what day it is, what color the car seems to look like. But today, it's probably looking as good as it ever has. Sometimes in the bright sun, it looks a little goofy. But I actually haven't had the car out for probably 2.5 months, just because I got busy, the weather got bad, I got sick, all kinds of things. I bought it with 17,175 miles, and let's see, now it's got 18,294, so I put about 300 miles on it this year, in a year, which, admittedly isn't a lot, I get that, but it's just so perfect. It's not the kind of car you want to buy and then put 10,000 miles on a year. If I wanted to do that, I would have bought one with 70,000 miles. But you saw my detail, my Concours prep detailing of the car, just how much I went through it, how thorough we cleaned it and everything, the wheel wells, everything. I mean, it's just, other than not getting under the car, which I haven't been able to do, but I do have a friend that has a lift, it's pretty much perfect everywhere. Why don't we hop in the car, go for a drive, and just kind of talk about it and kind of give the 1-year review of this baby.
But let's kind of just start at the beginning. You saw the videos that I made about, looking for an M3 and Phoenix Yellow or bust and all that stuff, so I'm not going to go over that. I just want to give you sort of my general impressions on the car over 12 months and kind of whether they met my expectations or whether they fell a little bit short. I have to say, exceeded expectations by far. I mean, I bought a number of cars over the years. Most of the cars I've sold, I wish I kept. Not many cars I bought, I wish I didn't buy. This is probably one of those that I am so glad I bought. This is probably the best purchase decision of my life. And maybe for everybody that drives an E46 M3, that's not the case for them. Maybe it's just a high mileage dairy driver for them. They got other cars and stuff like that. But this was really sort of a collector car, holy grail kind of car that I was looking for in a very specific color with a very specific limited amount of mileage, very specific options that were on the car. And so my choices were very narrow, and I had to be very patient with it. Fortunately, when you do that and you're successful and you find a car that you want, it's just absolutely perfect. It's the kind of car that I probably won't sell unless I'm absolutely destitute and I need a kidney transplant. So I got that going for me. Watch out, bird. When I first got the car, I bought it, let me go back. I bought it sight unseen from Boston, so it's the only car I've ever done that with. And if you listen to anything I've ever said in my videos, I probably told you not to do that, and I'd still tell you not to do that, so do as I say and not as I do. But I did as much due diligence as I could possibly do without actually going out and looking at the car. And I think I did as much as I could, and I made a reasonable determination that the car would be what it was when I got it. And it pretty much was. I mean, for 99 out of 100 other people out there, it would have been exactly what they thought it was going to be. But I still needed to kind of just get it to my level and to a place where I was satisfied with. So that's really what took the better part of a year over the last 12 months to just kind of work out the little bit you know, of the rough edges and the kinks and stuff to get it to a spot where I was happy with. So that's, you know, I had that problem with the window tint that was, you know, they'd taken it off the car, but they left all the glue on the window, so I had to scrape that shit off with razor blades, and oh my God, that was just an absolute disaster. Let's see, what else did I have to do? Well, obviously I put the window tint back on, and that still needs a little bit of a fix because there's a little bit spot on the driver's side window that's bubbled up, so I got to take that back. I had a couple of scrapes on the front bumper. I had to get those fixed. I had a mark on the right rear quarter panel. Got that fixed. You saw videos about that. And those were really just small imperfections and stuff, but I wanted the car to be perfect. And did a few other things. I put in the Khoalty Angel Eyes, which were an absolute bitch to put in. I don't care what anybody else says. They may have had no trouble putting them in, but for me, it was just an absolute nightmare. Finally got them in, and they work now, and they work great, but it wasn't easy getting them in. I think I also put like rear LED license plate lights in and a few other things like that. And just another small, you know, miscellaneous things. I think I cleaned the wheel wells. You saw that. Let me put some heat on here because it's freezing. It's like 40 degrees out. There we go. Let's see. I had to put new wheel caps, BMW center wheel caps on the car. The ones that came on the car were like those little plastic or metal, almost sticker type caps that you get off of eBay. They were totally cheap. You know, that's not fitting for a car like this. So it was just a bunch of little things to just get fixed to get to a spot where I was going to be happy with it. I didn't think it was going to take 12 months to get there, but it kind of did, and it's probably going to take a little bit longer than that too. Oh, how can I forget about the clear bra? Oh my God. I mean, that was the biggest clusterfuck of all. That was an absolute just calamity from start to finish. I ended up taking it down to a clear bra price, and they scraped most of it off, but a lot of the glue was still left on it. And I had to go back with it with goof off and a bunch of other chemicals. And it was just, I'm surprised it came out as good as it did, quite honestly. I thought I was just going to ruin the paint getting that thing off. But it had to come off. I mean, that thing had been on the car probably since the very beginning, so that's 10 years. And if I wanted to put a new clear bra on it, which I did, I didn't want to just stop it at the front fenders and like the first 10 or 12 inches of the hood. I wanted to do the entire front of the car. So I'm going to have to do that here in the spring, and I'm not really looking forward to that because that's probably going to cost me $1,500 to do. But I'm at the point where I'm already this deep into it, I can't turn back now. So if I want to protect the front of the car, and especially protect, you know, the paint fixes and stuff when the bumper was off, to get all that stuff taken care of, I can't afford not to have it perfect, because if I get some scratches on it now, if I get stone chips on it now, I'm gonna have to get them fixed again before I put the clear bra on, which is not gonna make any sense whatsoever. So what are you doing here, mister? Get your ass out of the way. So we got that going for us. Actually, I'm gonna slip this. There we go. I'm going into manual mode. I actually usually drive the car in manual mode with the paddles anyways. So let's get back to the Frank Smith tune. Like I said, big difference. I forget how much I paid for it, $150, $200. And of course, made a video on that, and that kind of didn't go as planned either. Had some connection issues with the car. But once I finally got it sorted out after a few days and got the software installed, the car drives a hell of a lot smoother. I don't miss the manual. I know everyone out there says, oh, you need to do a 6-speed swap and all that stuff. Look, not on a car that's this nice and this original. It's just not happening. And number two, listen, I hate to say it, I've driven the manual E46s and they're really good, but they're just not as good as the Cayman anyways. So I've already got really the best manual in the business. So if I want to drive a great manual, I already got that. So there's really no point in me doing that sort of a conversion in this car. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not the kind of car with low mileage you want to do that with. If this had 100,000 miles and the SMG blew out, totally different story. But it's not, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. And the SMG doesn't bother me. I think it's perfectly fine. I think the negative reviews about it are completely overblown. I mean, compared to the 6-speed, it's not quite as good. It's faster. I mean, if you want to be faster on the track, you want the SMG. The CSL is SMG. So you got that argument to make. But I just don't have a problem with it. I think it's comfortable. I think it's a nice different change of pace for me, because obviously the Cayman and the 930 are both manual cars. So to have something that's a little bit different is kind of fun. It just kind of changes things up for me. And this is the first paddle shift car I think I've ever had. So, for a lot of other people, they've been into paddle shift cars for years. Not for me. I mean, I've almost been exclusively a manual person. So it's kind of fun to have something different. I mean, you can't have everything the same. So overall, it's just been a great car. And I know it's hard to, you're probably saying, well, how do you know? Because you just don't drive it that much. But, when I go out in the garage and I'm just tooling around, it's just nice to even look at, man. Even when it's in the wintertime and there's 6 inches of snow on the ground and you can't drive it. It's just such a beautiful car. I love the Phoenix yellow. I know it's a love or hate color. A lot of people don't like it, but I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. You don't see it very often. I've only seen one other Phoenix yellow car in the area that I live ever. I'm sure there are a couple others around, but you just don't see them a lot around here. I've seen a few Laguna Seca Blues, but not even many of those either. In fact, I don't really even see that many E46 M3s around here. I saw one the other day. It looked like titanium silver, but still, if you want to drive something that's different than what everyone else has, that's unique. I always like kind of goofy colors. If I ever ordered a new Porsche, I'd order it paint to sample in some color. That's just the kind of personality I have. It's kind of hard to believe since I own 2 Guards Red Porsches. I'm not even a Guards Red fan. In fact, when I was looking for both of those cars, I was specifically looking for cars that were not in Guards Red, because the Guards Red in Porsche is not even, I don't even think it's really like a fire engine red. It almost has a tinge of like just a hair of like orange in it or something. You get it in bright sunlight and it doesn't really have that popping red that I like. I prefer carmine red in Porsche. If you haven't seen carmine red, just Google it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little bit deeper. It's almost like a blood red. To me, it's more of a truer red. But in any case, love this car, love the color. It's been everything I ever expected it to be and more. I think it's probably one of the nicest M3s in the country, whether it's Phoenix yellow or not. So you add that to it. You add that it's an 05. It's a really late car. It had to go through BMW individual to get done. The extremely low mileage and stuff. And so it's perfect for me. And I think I got it at a decent price. And I think prices are only going to go up from here, as the days of normally aspirated cars, non-turbocharged cars, hybrids, all that stuff, those days are pretty much over. So if you're looking for sort of old school cars, V6s, V8s, that type of thing, it's slim pickings anymore. So you're going to have to backdate yourself and find some other cars that have already been made that you can buy and then hold on to. So that's that. That's the M3 review for 2016. I only put about 300 miles on it, but we're going to put more miles on that in 2017. Hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, share it with your buddies, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.